Beautiful humans, hello. يا أجمل ما خلق ربي سلامات. It is Saturday, which means it's time for our first video of this week. But before I continue, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ruba The Heart-Mender, and I am a shadow work and path to self facilitator. In the first couple of videos, we got into shadow work, and I gave a very brief description of what it is. And in the next video, I gave a description and an explanation of what the self is, both from a spiritual perspective. In today's video, I would like to speak about who needs shadow work. The short answer is everybody. In a world where we are living in flight or fight response, the cortisol levels in our system are always maxed out, right? We're always on edge. We are always working. We're always on the move. We're always creating in our life, right? But what are we creating is the most important question before we get into shadow work. You will know that you need shadow work, which means getting to dive deeper into yourself to discover who you are, when you have been doing everything in your power to do the right thing, to do the accepted thing, to do the what you're supposed to. Go to the right school, marry the right man or woman, get the right job, get the correct amount for salary, live in the right type of house. Basically, you have it right on paper. Halawa, right? Yet, you wake up every single day feeling empty. Like you're in a hamster wheel. Wake up, do the same thing, see the same people, go to sleep, wake up, do the same thing, see the same people, and so on and so forth. You need shadow work when deep inside, all you hear is, fuck my life. This is bullshit. I don't belong here. This life is too difficult. I can't do anything right. If only I get thin enough. If only I get buff enough. If I only hook up with enough people. If I only wear the designer clothes. And you find yourself, the more you get into that, the more you buy into that, and the more you invest in what you're supposed to be doing, the emptier and the further and the more bleak your life starts to become, mentally and emotionally. Right? Shadow work of pure and absolute self-knowledge is absolutely necessary for you to get out of that mental space. Because you will only be able to relieve yourself from all of that once you start to follow this. The heart. El corazón. El qalb. Does it seem crazy? It seems dumb sometimes to talk this way, right? Because everybody's happy. Everybody has everything that they want, right? Do they? Really? Or are they just pretending like you are? That everything is randy dandy, everything is good. if you stop long enough and you watch people, you will see that's a beautiful acting scene on a very, very large stage. So, now you have taken a pause. You have realized that no matter what you do, no matter how many prayers you perform, no matter how many dresses, suits, shoes, cars, women, men, bottles you open at a club, no matter how many trips you take, you still feel empty inside. What do I do? How do I go about learning about myself? How do I go about discovering where that feeling of emptiness comes from? My formula for this is, what is your belief system? Are you a religious person? Are you an atheist? Are you a spiritual person? Yes? You start there. You start by creating a spiritual routine for yourself, based in whatever faith, denomination, philosophy you follow, right? It's not one thing, one size fits all. And it will look different for each and every one of us. My practice is not going to be the same as your practice. It's not going to be the same as Mr. X's practice or Madame Q's practice, right? So, start looking into the things in your belief system that feel peaceful and good to you. Make it a routine. If it is prayer, make sure that you set a time for yourself without any interruptions, even if it is 5 minutes a day for prayer. And make it a practice every single day. Okay, so I have done that and I haven't changed. Nothing changed in my life. Right. You ask yourself, what about that practice brought you peace? What about that practice did not work? Why haven't it worked? You go out seeking those answers. To whom? Psychiatrist / psychologist. Yes. A clergyman. Yes. Your parents. Yes. Your friends. Yes. And feel into those answers. Do they make sense to you? Deep inside, do they feel good to you? Or does it feel more like a burden? Does it feel good? Try it. Does it feel like a burden? Drop it. It is that simple. And you add that to your spiritual routine. Now you went from 5 minutes to 6 minutes a day. Right? Why are we doing that? We're doing that to create space. Space for you to be able to sit with yourself. We are humans that were trained to be on the run, to care about the other before we care about ourselves, to think about what people think before what we feel about ourselves. Do I respect myself? Do I honor myself? No, I need to honor the other first. This is our society. Why do I say a spiritual practice is of the utmost importance? Because it's only via your spiritual practice that you will know who you are deep deep down. Psychology and psychiatry are invaluable tools, but they fall short because they do not include you. Your individuality, your uniqueness. There are no two human beings in this world that are alike. Just like a fingerprint. You have 5 fingers. No, you have 10 fingers. And no two fingerprints are alike. Imagine us. Imagine each and every one of us. So it cannot be one size fits all. We wouldn't accept that in our clothing brand. Oh, our makeup brand. Inclusivity. But that doesn't exist yet, right? So you have to build that for your own. I, for myself, for example, I started with the prayers. 5 prayers a day. That did not help. So I went to the doctor, to a psychiatrist. I listened to what he had to say. I followed his advice. I took the pills. I attended the sessions. I took what helped and left the rest, yet it didn't feel right. So I went and I researched and I sought other opinion. I started opening my mind up to other solutions, right? I did not stay stuck in the rectangle that I was supposed to stay in. It's a trial and error. But what prayer did for me, it's allowed me to be with myself. 15 minutes a day. 5 prayers, between 3 and 5 minutes each. That was my time. That created a teeny tiny space. It felt good. So I went out seeking more. For myself. Now my practice looks completely different, right? It's not the practice that I started out with. It works for me. Give yourself the space. It doesn't have to be loom and gloom. It is not all darkness and crying and breaking apart. Shadow work is simply finding the time to sit with yourself in peace. And every person, sinner, alcoholic, sexaholic, workaholic, a stay-at-home mom, anybody deserves a few minutes of peace with themselves. Trying to test the ground that they stand on. Am I standing steady or am I wobbly? What makes the ground underneath my feet wobbly? How do I steady myself? That, my lovelies, is shadow work. And each one of us deserves the time. So tell me, do you have any feelings or thoughts about shadow work? Have you tried it? Have you ever ventured into yourself? And if you have, what did you find? If you have any questions, and if you want to learn more about how to venture into shadow work safely, and what methods can be used to venture into self and shadow, leave the comments down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe to my channel and leave me a like. I leave you in peace and love. Fi amantillah.